This is a crew from Interior Removal Specialists, or IRS, of Southern California. It's 7 p.m. and they're about to start a new demolition job. A job they have to finish before sunrise, so a construction crew can start building.
IRS, or Interior Removal Specialist, is a tenant improvement demolition contractor. We specialize in strictly interior demolition.
Richard Lute is the Waste Management Administrator for IRS, a company that does demolition the old-fashioned way, with hand tools and elbow grease.
We go into existing buildings and we demolish the tenant's space so the next tenant can put in their own floor plan.
It may sound like an oxymoron, but the IRS motto is destruction with care.
Demolition is dirty work, and one of the reasons that people hire us is because we are so clean. We make sure that all of our workers are dressed the same. They all have green IRS t-shirts, they all have hard hats. The corridors have to be protected, the carpet and the walls, so that we're not leaving a debris trail behind us. When our crew walks away from a job, you can eat off the floor.
IRS has been hired to gut a 3,600 square foot commercial space to make way for a new credit union branch. Everything you see here, 5 offices partitioned by steel stud gypsum board walls, an acoustical tile ceiling, 1,000 square feet of carpeting, 2,000 square feet of vinyl tile, as well as a 10 by 15 foot section of concrete floor must be torn out and hauled away within 12 hours. How does IRS do it? It's not rocket science, just sheer manpower. A tenacious 15-member crew will attack this space like marauding invaders and won't retreat until it's stripped clean. Until 50 years ago, this was the way most demolition was done, and that includes bringing down entire buildings.
Right up until the early part of the 20th century, through the 20s and 30s, the industry was still very, very labor-intensive. You had 60, 70 men with pickaxes and sledgehammers and wrecking bars.
It's not much different now on any IRS worksite. As the space is torn apart, workers fill special wheeled carts with different types of debris.
These are called buggies. They basically hold 1 cubic yard of debris. Since we're on the ground floor, we'll just go right out the back door, and then we have a ramp. We'll roll it up into the box and dump the debris. We're the only demolition contractor in the state that's recycling ceiling tile. We're also the only demolition contractor recycling carpeting. We're one of 3 contractors recycling drywall at the moment.
Aside from cuts and scrapes, the biggest danger to workers is slicing a live electrical line. Each IRS employee is provided with a circuit tester to ensure a line is dead before it's cut. If workers do encounter a live line, they move it up and out of the way, leaving it for the electricians to handle. Two hours into the job, IRS foot soldiers have obliterated most of the walls. The next point of attack, the ceiling and all that's hidden above it.
A lot of the work in a tenant improvement demolition job actually happens above ceiling height. The ceiling grid is held up by hundreds of small wires. Every one of those wires has to get clipped at the ceiling so we don't have wires hanging down. Also above the ceiling, you're going to find all of the phone lines, the electrical lines, the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning ducts. All of that has to come out on the job.
Like ravenous insects stripping clean an animal carcass, the workers take the ceiling down to its barest bones. It's 10:30 p.m. The first 40-yard dumpster is full, and a replacement arrives. Back inside, workers ready the perennial icon of hand demolition and the bane of urbanites everywhere, the jackhammer.
The jackhammer we're using is a pneumatic jackhammer. It's powered by a large compressor that we have outside of the job.
It was the invention of the air compressor that paved the way for the pneumatic jackhammer. In 1861, Germain Sommelier, a French engineer working on the first Alpine tunnel between Italy and France, converted steam-powered drills to work with compressed air. Sommelier's invention helped complete the tunnel 20 years ahead of schedule. The IRS workers are also ahead of schedule, thanks to their power tools. Like this amazing time saver brought in to annihilate some 2,000 square feet of vinyl composite tile, or VCT for short.
The vinyl tile chipper makes things a lot faster. In the old days, we used to have to chip the vinyl tile with scrapers and do it all manually. This machine cuts about a 12-inch swath of tile in one single pass. It's got 75 pounds of weight on the nose that will keep the blade down. And it is self-pushing. It moves itself forward, so the operator has to work much less strenuously to get the VCT out.
Even with 2 chippers going at once, it'll take workers several hours to strip the floor. To scrape off the top coat of residual carpet glue from the exposed cement floor, workers use a special buffer machine.
It's got 12 carbide scraper blades on the bottom of it. It works basically like a floor waxing machine. And what it does is the carbide blades chip up the glue and leave the surface as clean as possible for raw concrete. It's about 4:30 in the morning. We're about 9.5 hours into the job, and we're doing the final cleanup. We're scraping up the last of the vinyl tile that's on the floor. We're sweeping up what needs to be swept up. Another half an hour, 45 minutes, we'll be cleaning up the protection, getting out of here.
As dawn nears, the IRS Army has successfully completed its mission. All that's left now is the mop-up.
It's 5:30 in the morning. We're an hour and a half ahead of schedule. The guys put on an extra burst at the end, and we got it done. When the general contractor comes in, he'll find the place spick and span, nothing in his way, so he can get his work done.
A fully partitioned office space has been destroyed with care in less than 12 hours, proving that IRS's motto is no idle boast.
It seems kind of funny being the one standing in front of the camera talking about what we're doing, because it's the 15 guys in the green T-shirts that were here behind us that did all the work. Without our crews, we wouldn't be anything.